What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the Texas Rangers report. In today's video, I'm going to be going over a Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy trade to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And yes, there hasn't been a lot of news or rumors about an Ian Kennedy trade or a Kyle Gibson trade, but my speculation is that as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline, the rumors are going to start picking up. Right now, it's been a lot of Joey Gallo trade rumors to the Yankees, to the Padres. I've even heard some talks that they are trying to get a extension done for Joey Gallo, which is encouraging to hear. But I thought I should look at a deal for other top trade chips in Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy. So you could package them separately, but I think that there is some value throwing them in to the same deal because both are older pitchers and both haven't had a good track record, and I think if you throw them in the same deal, you can get a good return for prospects, as you only have Kennedy for he's a pure rental. The teams will only get him for their playoff run, but you have Kyle Gibson for a year and a half. So going back to Kennedy, I think he could be a cheaper option than saying going for a Craig Kimbrell. So even though they don't have a good track record, they are performing well, and say if you trade them separately to the Dodgers, you might get lesser prospects, but if you combine them together, I think it makes a good recipe to acquire good talent. So here's my proposed trade offer to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Obviously, going to the LA Dodgers, you have Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy. Ian Kennedy going to the Dodgers, this is just to shore up the bullpen, and the Los Angeles Dodgers already have a solid bullpen, but sometimes Kenley Jansen can be a little worrisome, and you can never have too much bullpen arms come playoff time, and Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy has had a resurgent year with the Texas Rangers. He has like 15 saves, a 2.5 ERA. He's been really solid, and he could add really solid depth to the Dodgers bullpen. And as far as Kyle Gibson, it makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, for the Dodgers to go out and get him, because as of right now, you don't know what's going to happen with Trevor Bauer, and Clayton Kershaw could leave in free agency next year. So if Kyle Gibson keeps it up, you have a stud this year and a stud next year as well, for only $10 million this year and $7 million next year. So that's a really good steal for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And coming back to the Texas Rangers, I have the Texas Rangers receiving the LA Dodgers number 2 overall prospect, according to MLB.com, and Josiah Gray. And yes, Rangers fans are gonna love this trade. Dodgers fans probably gonna hate this trade. That's just how it goes. But if you look back to the Lance Lynn deal from a year ago, the Rangers were still able to net a top 100 prospect in Dane Dunning, and they also got Avery Weems, another prospect, and that was just Lance Lynn by himself, and he only had a year left in control. Kyle Gibson has a year and a half left in control, and we are giving Ian Kennedy as well, so that's why I think we can go after a top 40 prospect and Josiah Gray. I don't know if the Dodgers would be willing to part with Gray, but I think we have a legitimate shot to get him, and he could be another guy that we can slide into the rotation with Jack Leiter, Gray, Dane Dunning, Colby Allard. He's been rocky lately, but we'll see what happens to him. Cohen, Hans Kraus, and yeah, we have if you add Gray, that's a lot of arms. And you guys might be saying, we don't need that many arms. Yes, you do. Just look at the Dodgers situation. They added Trevor Bauer, and people are thinking they don't need Trevor Bauer, and look at what's happened to them this year. So yeah, Josiah Gray, he's tearing it up in AAA. Let me look at his stats. He had a brief stint in the majors this year, didn't do so well. He put up an ERA of 9, but that was only in 1 game. But so far, through 4 games in AAA, he's posted a 2.87 ERA. So that's a really small sample size, but I believe in the player, in Josiah Gray. He has a really good fastball, and a solid slider, but one of his best things is his really solid command. Now moving on to the next prospect on this list, I have the Texas Rangers receiving in this trade. That is the LA Dodgers 30th overall prospect according to MLB.com, and Nick Robertson. And this prospect is probably just a relief pitcher only through the future. And I think about it that Josiah Gray might be the only prospect that the Dodgers might be willing to give up in this trade, but since Ian Kennedy's there, we might be able to sneak in a lower talent prospect. So that's why we might be able to get like a reliever in this situation. And Robertson isn't doing too great this year for AA Tulsa. He has a 4.13 ERA in 24 games with a 1.13 WHIP and a 240 batting average. So it's not great, but his tools that he has to work with is pretty solid. He has a 65 graded fastball, a 55 slider, 50 changeup, 55 control. So that's stuff to work with, and that's why I think we can sneak him into the Josiah Gray trade. Like, Josiah Gray's already asking for a lot, but I think we'll be able to sneak in Nick Robertson, and Nick Robertson would definitely be a flyer. He's already 23 years old, and he's already had Tommy John surgery. But we'll see what he can be. Something he can be a quick flyer through the minor leagues. This was obviously before he has had struggles at AA. But sometimes people just need to change a scenery. Obviously, he won't be a starter in the future, but he could be a dominant relief pitcher. I don't really have a comp for him. He's 6'6", 265 pounds, but he could be overpowering if it all clicks. He's touched 98 miles an hour. It just because a lot of teams like to stack up on starting pitching, which is good, but this could be a nice bullpen option as well. So those are the two prospects I have in this trade. So the Dodgers get a solid starting pitcher in Kyle Gibson. He was an all-star this year, and they solid closer in Ian Kennedy. Obviously, he wouldn't be closing for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You have Kenley Jansen. You get Kennedy for the rest of this year, Kyle Gibson for the rest of this year and all of 2022. And I have the Texas Rangers receiving the Los Angeles Dodgers number 2 overall prospect Josiah Gray, according to MLB.com, and their number 30 overall prospect, according to Nick Robertson. I don't know if Nick Robertson would make the majors this year. Josiah Gray, he's already made the majors, but I would expect the Rangers to call him up to the majors if they were to get him in the trade. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I would definitely be okay if the Rangers were to do this trade with the Los Angeles Dodgers. In my opinion, I don't think their farm system is as strong as it's been in the past, but I'm a big fan of Josiah Gray. I used to be a ball boy with the Tulsa Drillers from 2019 to 2020. Obviously, there wasn't a season in 2020, but Drillers had a collegiate league, and now I'm a trackman operator for the Tulsa Drillers. So I'm familiar with a lot of their players, but I'm not trying to be biased. I really think he's a solid prospect, and I think he can help the Rangers out. But Dodgers fans, let me know what you think in this comment section. Rangers fan, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel because I'm your #1 source for all things Rangers on YouTube. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.